Welcome back to Tech Check. And as always, continuing to bring you very interesting stories from the startup ecosystem in Pakistan. And today, I wanted to introduce somebody who's doing something a little different. It's around affordable housing. I'd like to introduce Mr. Nabeel Siddiqui, CEO and co-founder of ModulusTech. Nabeel, welcome to the show.
Hi, Farooq. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for joining us. So, as we do, Tech Check style, let's jump right in.
Sounds good.
Nabeel and what's Modulus all about?
So we're not just affordable housing, but we do now what we call sustainable housing at large.
Okay.
And this starts from just in terms of the price point, but also the carbon footprint of the houses themselves and the energy they consume throughout the entire cycle. So we're a clean tech company working on innovation in housing, and what we've developed now are houses that can be set up very quickly, but are also net zero energy. So these houses are not producing any carbon emissions in excess than they're consuming. So that's what we've been working with. We work primarily in two areas. One of them is affordable housing. So we do housing for the bottom 40% of the income pyramid. And then we also do tiny houses and these chalets or backyard homes that could be flat packed and shipped and then just set up wherever you need them to be.
Got it. And so based on that, Nabeel, where is the actual manufacturing of the components happening?
Manufacturing is in Karachi, in our facility, but we've also outsourced manufacturing to different partners in Pakistan. So it's a mix of both right now.
Very, very interesting. And what is it that makes the components affordable and easy to move?
That's our proprietary innovation, you might want to call it. So we've optimized the design, but also the components that we've designed and the system itself, the entire system makes it very affordable, also very easy to build. So it's a component-based model that just fits in, and just the industrialization of the entire process makes it very economical.
Got it. And so where are you in terms of your deployment? Do you have houses up and running, or what's going on that front?
Operational since the past 3 years. Our first project was, in fact, in a desert. It was labor housing, and we've been doing labor housing. We've been doing schools. We've been doing hospitals. Right now, we're doing affordable housing projects in Karachi. We're also working in tourism in northern areas of Pakistan, and we're just starting exports this year to North America. So it's just a lot of different products now. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Tell us more about how the export process works.
So we found a large gap in the US market specifically. And we saw that, first of all, there's a huge housing crunch in where you are in California. And there's the number of ADU permits have been now growing since the past 4 or 5 years. ADUs are accessory dwelling units, kind of like tiny houses or backyard homes. So right now, these houses take 6 months to build over there, and cost a shit ton of money. So we've been able to cut down that price point considerably, but most importantly, reduce the time it takes to set up a tiny house. So what currently happens in 6 months, we're doing in a week. So that just makes the entire process very efficient, and the supply chain smart in that sense. Yeah, so our technology is able to help that market segment quite a lot.
And so how is it then from a cost perspective, because of the shipping involved? How does that work?
Yeah, so we've always envisioned ourselves as a global company solving affordable housing problem, not just in Pakistan, but globally, right? So we've always design products with that global approach. Hence, one feature of the product is that they can be flat packed. And when we flat pack, we can pack 11 houses, 11 tiny houses in a single shipment container.
Oh, wow.
So it's very efficient and economical transport as well. So transport costs from Karachi to, let's say, the LA port would be around $300, $400 per house. It's not a huge, it's not a big chunk.
And have you actually sold into the US so far?
So we're doing prototyping right now, the design and development, and being tested.
Okay, great, great, great.
It's
Well,
exciting.
that's very interesting and very exciting. That's, for me, it's the first time I'm hearing about a substantive export from Pakistan that's outside of textile and mangoes. So
That's the aim. So we found distributors now. We have a network. We found the product market fit. COVID kind of slowed down the entire process. But yeah, it's going to happen soon.
great. And just I'm trying to understand also. So how are you guys using technology in this process?
Starting from the design process, from the energy modeling of the houses, to the structural elements, and just testing the entire thing and simulating how the houses will perform. We're incorporating a lot of software towards mass manufacturing. And that's how we've been able to license our manufacturing as well through software.
Okay.
So that enables us to essentially, okay, so imagine if you have a 3D printer, but we're providing you the software to run or make components out of that 3D printer. So it's sort of like that. So it helps us scale production massively.
Very interesting.
Software is most important in the mass manufacturing process. Also in terms of quality control.
And you as ModulusTech have created this software?
Right now, we're using after market third-party softwares.
Got it.
But the plan is to have machinery which is available to everyone, and everyone already has, and then designing software for that specific plugins that could be just for ModulusTech.
Got it. And as far as the production of components today, how is that being
done? We source raw materials mostly locally. Some of them are built in-house, some of them are outsourced, but they're all warehoused in the end and then just shipped to the sites. Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have challenges with finding those materials and resources in Pakistan?
That's a huge challenge. Also, with our very sustainable approach, we have to focus on materials that are locally available. Also, are not bad for the environment. So, materials have always been a huge challenge, and we're doing some R&D in producing our own materials that will be more sustainable. Also, we're working with corporates and encouraging them to recycle and provide us that recycled material to boost their own sales. So yeah, a lot of exciting things that we're working on in that domain, especially.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's very interesting, and it's a great way to put a more unique footprint on what we can export out of the country. So I do find that quite interesting.
Yeah, I feel it's a great story. Manufactured good that is very innovative in its true sense, and being manufactured in Pakistan. It's difficult initially to change that perspective, but it's very interesting.
No, it's good. It's good. Do you have any competitors in the marketplace?
In Pakistan or abroad?
In Pakistan specifically.
There are indirect competitors. A lot of prefab companies from like using Chinese or Turkish technology. But their process is slower and the product's more expensive here. Also, they're relying heavily on imports.
Okay.
Globally, we do have competitors, but our product's different in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Great, great.
So, in one sense, sorry to cut you off. In one sense, we're one of the most affordable net zero housing products available in the market globally.
Great. And are you seeing how many houses have you seen deployed within Pakistan?
Doing our first housing project right now. It's in Karachi, and um, it's based on a mortgage model. So we not only had to create a product, but we had to work with governments and banks to find financing for the end user. So now the model is something like for 15,000 rupees, a family earning around with a household income of around 40,000 rupees can own a house and the land over a 20-year tenure. So it's a game changer for the sector.
Wow.
And the houses include free electricity through solar. It's all renewable.
Interesting. So what is the actual housing value? What's it being sold at?
So according to the Prime Minister's objective, the affordable house should be less than 3 million rupees.
Okay.
We're doing that within the range, but the major cost is the land essentially.
Got it.
Yeah. So if we can get access to cheaper land, then the house would go down to the price would go down to at least 1.8 million rupees.
Okay. Okay. And
But
are you focused on urban areas?
so urban areas have the biggest housing crunch in Pakistan. So we're looking at areas which have close access to schools and hospitals, and people are actually um, want to stay in those areas. Like we could build something really far away from the city, but then it won't create impact because people want to stay closer to the city because that's where they have jobs. So we've really thought about the problem within Pakistan and similar developing countries, especially. So people want to be closer to cities with all these facilities available.
Very, very interesting. And and the end state is that how do you then provide utilities and things like that to these homes?
Electricity is provided through solar. It's
Mhm.
100% off grid. Uh, there is an option for grid, but it's not required. For water, we're doing other renewable sources through solar distillation, or it could be reverse osmosis to have water off grid. And then other utilities like sewage are built the conventional way.
Got it. Okay. Wow, this is really interesting, and given the situation in Pakistan with the housing shortages and the kind of the ramshackle effort that goes into creating communities, this is very interesting. And you did mention, so there is at a government level, there's an initiative around this. What does that entail?
There are, it's a program, but we're working privately. It's easier not to rely on the government all the time. But yeah, the recent government and its policies are definitely helpful in terms of mortgaging. We did initially face the problem with providing financing to people who don't have salaries. They have a household income that makes them qualified for the mortgage. Uh, However, they're not salaried, so banks cannot ever give them mortgages. So
Understood.
we found ways to work around that through private mortgaging companies, and we made those partnerships to make this possible.
Excellent. Wow, this is really interesting, Nabeel. I think you guys are doing something really interesting in the sense that you're solving for a major problem, creating some sustainability, and hopefully creating a strong and unique enterprise. So, leads me to my last question: what can the diaspora do to help?
This needs support, and I think throughout the past 3 years, a lot of people have just approached and offered to help, and that's been very, very useful and just offered expertise and in some cases become part of our team. So that's always useful in whichever way they feel they can contribute. We're always happy to help with new people, work with new people.
No, that's wonderful. No, and I'm sure you'll continue to get attention around this, and hopefully, we'll help you get a few more eyeballs on the project and what you're doing through the TechCheck platform.
definitely. Next time you're in Karachi, I'll invite you to the housing project. Yeah.
I would actually quite enjoy doing that and looking into that. That's great stuff.
Likewise.
So with that, to our audience, again, as you can see, a lot of unique, cool, interesting things happening in Pakistan. You know, not and as you can see with Tech Check, we don't just focus on pure tech, but how tech impacts lives and the social impact of what we're doing there. So with that, I want to make sure, please subscribe, share, like us. As you know, we're approaching now 75 episodes. And we continue. There is just a tremendous amount of unique stories in the country. So please continue to support us, give us your feedback and ideas. And with that, Nabeel, thank you very much for being with us today.
Likewise. Really, really appreciate this, and best of luck.
Thank you. And to our audience, Allah Hafiz.
Allah.